So I briefly introduce a Master of Public Policy, what it means, what's the characteristics of the program, and to fire ahead, the key point about the program is that we help you to understand how public policy works, but also how to make a change in major public policy programs so that you really learn everything from the policy making to implement changes in our society and then also understand it, whether they work or not. So we call that evidence-based policymaking, evaluating it and also highlighting problems that should probably be addressed with new policies or at least changed policies. So that's kind of the core of the program. And then I would think our program has three main features. So first of all, we are interdisciplinary across the College of Social Sciences. Schools contribute to the program so that you get different perspectives of public policy. Moreover, we are global, so we have a global faculty, so including me. I'm originally from Germany, but we also have now about a third of our students are from overseas. And then it's applied. So we always take real world examples, look if our theories, our methods work, and then you can also use these examples in different contexts because the world is changing. What you learn today probably doesn't apply exactly in the future, but you will have all the skills to analyze public policies in the future. And then we have core skills like methods, public administration, comparative public policy, again, having this global perspective, and evidence-based policymaking. And within the core, then you can kind of specialize in our streams on social policy, what is basically citizenship and rights, health, economics, European Union or regulation, and you get a really kind of specialization within the program. The key feature of the program is we have a 1-year full-time master, a 2-year part-time master, and we have an internship option. I will talk about that later. We also welcome quite diverse backgrounds. So if you don't have a social science background, please write us a nice letter why you want to change your subject. We had students from a science background that moved into public policy. And so please, we welcome these excellent students. Mansi will also briefly probably talk about the 30% scholarship because she is our current award holder, and that encourages future women leaders. So it's only open for female students. We also have a very friendly and international networks. I point you towards a picture at the bottom right, at least from my view. That's, for instance, Christoph Knill. He is kind of the lead author of our introduction of public policy. So we really have the core international leaders also at our school. Recently, we were also ranked, if you, I think it's a good sentiment that over the years we have quite good ranking in top 20 within Europe. And then here are our internship options. It's kind of government departments, companies, but also a lot of the private NGO sector where we have established partnerships, but we also encourage you to seek other internship options. And it's often the good transfer into paid employment. So here is from our last cohort, 2021, after 6 months, 24 of 25 had employment. So this gave you an overview about the program. If you have any further questions, please drop us an email to mpp@ucd.ie, and then we kind of happy to help further. And I hand over to Mansi to report on the student side of the program.
Thank you, Stefan, and thank you for the kind introduction. I chose UCD to pursue my master's degree because of the global exposure and the interdisciplinary approach that the course offered. And although it was it's only a 1-year degree, but still I have had like many enriching experiences over here. I have attended multiple events, connected with guest speakers who are like specialists in their field. And during my time in the university, I have been like able to grasp more about the current policy milieu and the development and effective implementation of different policies, how they can be done, and moreover, like we have a quite diverse cohort. We are a small class, but it's quite diverse. So I have been able to gain, diverse perspectives from all across the world, which is like a really good thing when it comes to policies. Other than that, the program has actually trained me well to tackle world problems in the sphere of public policy because of the kind of real world issues that we deal with. Like in this course, I would say that we have like incredible opportunities, and specifically because Gary Institute of Public Policy is also a part of the building. So you get to attend a lot of seminars, you get to, interact with a lot of people in the domain, and with, experts from the field. So who can guide you in the direction that you really want your career in. Also, like if you would have looked at glanced through the MPP website uh, course, you would realize that research is like a pivotal part of the course, and we would be trained in multiple research methodologies, which we can practically apply through research projects that we get. And also, like, our professors are quite supportive. They float a lot of research assistant opportunities all the time. And I was also glad to be, part of one research project where I could apply those learnings to a practical settings. Moreover, like, UCD also, our classes are quite interactive. We are able to, also enact all the theoretical concepts that we have learned through group research projects and presentations, which I feel is like quite a significant skill that we need for our professional growth in the sector. Doing the course, I'm midway, and I've like had a lot of experiences which are like really good, and I really look forward to a lot of similar experiences coming forward. And I just wish all the offer holders all the best, and I hope this would help them in making a decision.
And hi, everybody. Thanks a million for being with us here today. It's great to have the opportunity to talk about the Equality Studies program. I don't have slides today, so I'm just going to talk about the program and what I think makes it unique. Equality Studies is 1-year master program, 90 credit master program. You can also take it as a 2-year part-time program. And it focuses on social scientific approaches to understanding inequality and in addressing inequality and creating a more equal society. There's 2 things which I think make the Equality Studies program unique. The first is that it involves an interdisciplinary approach to inequality. So we see inequality very much as being multidimensional and intersectional, and therefore it's important to understand different forms of inequality like class, race, gender, migration, sexuality, disability, and so forth, but also to understand the different social aspects of society that cause inequality: political, sociological, legal, economic, etc. So in the terms of the structure of the masters, that means we're drawing on knowledge and skills from across the social sciences to best understand inequality. And that brings me to the second thing, which I think makes the program unique, and that is that we are very explicitly focused on creating social change. And we believe that social science and research has a really important part to play in social change. So the program is also not just about understanding inequality, but it's also very closely linked to ways in which we can create a more equal society, be that through activism, social movement, civil society, and indeed policy. And that kind of passion and shared commitment to equality is shared between the teaching staff and the students. And that for me creates a very special environment where staff and students can work together and have really rich and engaging interaction and dialogue. And for me, that's what I like most about teaching on the program. And I hope that that's something that our students also experience and value. Just a couple of quick things about the structure. There's 4 core modules in the first trimester. The core modules are egalitarian theory and sociology of inequality. And then you also can choose one optional module to complement those. And in the second trimester, our core modules are feminist and egalitarian research. And then students must choose between either human rights and equality or critical political economy. And then there's an optional module there as well. Finally, we have our portfolio project. So in place of a standard social science dissertation, students have the opportunity to do a 30-credit research project, which involves a very important research element, but which is also directly relevant to social change. So the research project has to be about engaging with an issue of inequality, but also designing some kind of intervention which is targeted at addressing inequality. In other words, creating a more equal society. We do welcome students from a very wide variety of backgrounds, as Stefan said. So most of our students come from social science and humanities backgrounds, but we do also have students from other backgrounds, especially if they have very strong interest or experience with activism or civil society or internships or things along those along those lines. The last thing I'll just say is in terms of careers, one of the things I like, one of the highlights of my year every year as director of the program is that once a year we bring in some of our graduates to talk to some of our students. And it's always really exciting to see our students involved in working for equality. And just to give you some examples from this year's iteration of that event, to give you a flavor of some of the careers that our graduates go on to do. This year we had speaking Sinead Gibney, who's the Chief Commissioner of the Irish Human Rights and Equality Commission, which is the most important statutory equality body in Ireland. And we had Louise Bayliss, who's a campaigns coordinator with Focus Ireland, the housing charity, and Diane McSweeney, who is the director of the Ballymun Initiative for Third Level Education. So it's a program that's about supporting disadvantaged young people into third level education. So I think those give you a flavor. The careers are typically involve a mix between research, policy, and activism or change. That's the kind of particular cohort. So there'd be careers in civil society, NGO, charity sector, and civil service policy roles, trade unions, political parties, all that kind of thing. I think I've covered everything I'd like to. Very happy to answer any questions. I will put my email into the chat box, so by all means contact me directly if you have any questions at all about the program. And I'm very happy to hand over to Cora Saxenberger, who's a current full-time student on the program, and she can talk a little bit about the student perspective. Thanks everyone, and thanks Cora.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much, Mick, for introducing the program. I'm super happy to be here today and to tell you about my experience as a current student of the Equality Studies program. Quickly for my background, I did my undergrad in a program called European Studies in the Netherlands, so that was more political and history based. And I did a minor in Gender and Equality Studies. And I found that very interesting. That kind of pushed me towards this direction, but I really wanted something that was focused wider on issues of diversity and equality. And I found the Equality Studies program and applied for it, and I was not disappointed. I am having a wonderful time, such a great time. And what really stood out to me for the Equality Studies program, as Mick said before, is that it's not only intersectional and interdisciplinary, so you will not only find connections between different kinds of inequalities, but it also specifically focused on egalitarianism and trying to find different ways of creating a more equal future for people. So that is the big focus. And you will have your core modules. So these are the modules that you have to take that kind of bring everybody to the same basis. But you also have your optional modules. And that is really where you can find and explore your personal interests, whether that be in the direction of race and migration or gender studies, education, economics. There is really such a variety of topics that you can choose. And then you can bring that into your core modules as well. Also, the specific aim to create social change is really something that comes through. So you are not only learning what is wrong with the world and all of the different ways that things are equal and where that's coming from, but you're also learning how can we challenge that? What tools can we use in different domains and on different avenues to really foster a more equal society? What is more feasible? What is more desirable? So you will get the tools to try to change something about the world. It is also a very critical program, and it also teaches you to be critical. So it is critical of social systems and things that we take for granted, but also institutions. So it is also critical of traditional academia. And that was something that I found super interesting, because it also encourages you to reflect on your own positions, reflect on where the things that you're taking for granted are coming from and how they're influencing your own position, and certain systems of oppression, how they're influencing academia, the media, and all of that. So it is very critical, and it encourages you to be critical as well and to voice that in class. So there's also a big emphasis on reflecting on yourself. It is also very discussion based, which I found fantastic. So you're not just sitting in a huge lecture hall and someone is talking at you and you have to absorb the information, you're falling asleep, but it is very much focused on your interactions between you and the lecturer, on bringing in your own experiences, your different backgrounds, and discussing about the topics. And the teaching staff is so receptive to feedback and to discussing with you on a one-on-one basis. So it is a big focus on dialogue. It is very student-centered as well. So there are smaller classes. It is very focused on your individual trajectory. What I found very cool was the first meeting that we did where Mick was introducing the program, is that all of the teaching staff said that they are here to make this an enjoyable and enriching experience for us as the students. So it really felt like the lecturers and the teaching staff were here to make this a great experience for us. And if we had any problems, we can come to them, we can discuss it. So there is a huge focus on the student, and everybody is making you feel so welcome. Everybody is very, very kind. There's loads of different activities and events that you can interact with the teaching staff with. So we have a Christmas meeting. There are kind of informal meetings where you can go and meet the teaching staff. So it is kind of like a big family, and you feel very, very comfortable. So yeah, it's a wonderful program. There are also lots of different supports at UCD, obviously. So I am a non-Irish student. So this is something that was very important to me, that UCD is also supporting if you're not from Ireland. So there is support about academic stuff, so skills and writing and all of that. There is support for administrative things, so uni fees, but also registrations for different courses. There is support for living in Ireland for international students, so about insurance and registering with the local municipality and all of that. So it really feels like UCD is trying to make this a great experience for you. They're also providing career support. So the event that Mick mentioned was something where I found something that I might want to pursue in the future. So it is giving you a lot of different avenues and different things that you can explore. So kind of to sum up, I would recommend this program to anyone, really. It is an insanely fun experience. All of the different courses are super, super interesting. It is enriching in your academic sense, in your personal sense, in your political sense. It is incredibly rewarding, and it gave me the tools and the knowledge, but also kind of the hope and motivation to see that we can change things in the world and we can create a fairer and more equal future for everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that this was somehow useful for you to find out more the direction that you want to go in. Thank you.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Marie Keenan. I'm Director of Admissions for the Professional Masters in Social Work, and I've been working in UCD for 22 years now on this programme. I did my own training in UCD as a social worker a long time ago, and I went on then and trained in forensic psychotherapy and various other restorative justice and various other skills. So this is a level 9 qualification. It's a 150 credit program. It's a full-time 2-year program. Half of the program is academic, as in for the first semester or first trimester, you're in college, learning about theories and various other modules that I'll talk about in a moment. And then for the second trimester, you're out on a practice placement in a multiple variety of placements, like the probation service, child and family service, TUSLA, oncology, mental health, hospitals, various kinds of settings. And then for the third trimester of year 1, you are expected to do a thesis on, it's generally a literature review, but it is quite of the academic quality of a level 9 thesis, and it's on a topic of your choice. And then in year 2, you're back in college for the first trimester, doing more advanced academic work. And then the second trimester, you're out on another practice placement. And then we wrap up back in the university for the final round. All modules on this program are core. So all modules are taken and there are no electives. The elective, or where you want to learn more about a particular topic, generally shows up in the choice of placements and also in your thesis in your third trimester. Eligibility for this program, you have to have second honours grade 2 degree at level 8. With sufficient social policy in it. That doesn't mean you have to have a degree in social policy, but in your application, you have to demonstrate that you understand social policy and have taken some modules in your course. That could even have been in some other degree program, but you have understood social policy. Increasingly, we're seeing students apply with a social justice undergraduate degree, and but we are still asking that those students will have sufficient social policy in their undergraduate program also. So that's the first requirement. You have to have a degree, a level 8 degree at second class honours grade 2 minimum. Then you have to have in total 420 hours voluntary experience, voluntary or paid experience in some services. So that could be in criminal justice or in child protection or childcare or social care in some other way. So that you need to demonstrate that you have at least 420 hours experience to be eligible at the point at which we offer places. At the point at which you apply, you need to demonstrate that you have 250 hours relevant experience. But if you are offered, and we interview on that basis, but if you are offered a place, then you have to demonstrate your 420 hours. This program is accredited by CORU, which is the statutory regulator for social work practitioners in Ireland. So basically the qualification is awarded by UCD. So that's a professional master's level. So you have an academic training, but you also have then a practice training that is makes you eligible to apply for registration with CORU, because you will have taken your training in an institution that is providing an accredited program, and that's very important. The kinds of careers that people go on to are generally in child protection and welfare work as social workers, or in the probation service as a social worker, or in, as I've mentioned earlier, hospitals and oncology services, addiction services, and so on. And there is quite a career trajectory, quite a career pathway into those professions, and so on and so forth. The kinds of modules you would take during the course of your academic part of the work will be in justice and human rights, child welfare and protection, human behaviour, theories of social work, and so on, and counselling skills. We do counselling skills labs in year 1 and counselling skills labs in year 2, and then you go out on placement. You're allocated a mentor, an academic tutor or mentor from the moment you come into the university, and then that person follows through with you through the entire 2 years.
I will present as the interim director of gender studies, some of the main features of our program. And you're welcome to watch this video, which has more information on our program at any point. For us, gender studies is an opportunity or an invitation to deepen knowledge specifically on gender justice. So you will have an opportunity to learn about feminist theory, but also with this specific focus on how to challenge gender injustices, both at local but at global scales. So we do bring, and this is very important for us, an intersectional analysis. So all of our courses, our supervision, our ways of interaction, our pedagogies are shaped by this intersectional analysis in which class, race, age, political orientation, ethnicity, religion, all these different sort of axes of oppression come together, and we sort of analyze and guide our questions, this approach guides our curriculum. And we do have a very strong interdisciplinary approach, because most of our scholars comes from different disciplines, from anthropologists, sociologists, political scientists, legal scholars, historians. So from these different disciplines, we do produce a particular form of class engagement and a sort of transformative pedagogy. We also engage in critical thinking. We promote this or create spaces for reflexivity and engaged pedagogies. And the colonial practice is a key dimension of our approach as we try to sort of decolonize our knowledge and experiences from a feminist decolonial approach. Now, we do have 2 options: the Master's in Arts in Gender Studies, which is 90 credits, and it involves having a dissertation, or it's called an MA thesis. That would be a very interesting opportunity to conduct your own research, create your own questions, and you will have a supervisor which you will be working with, and a graduate diploma that has the same, almost the same sort of coursework, but it would not have the dissertation piece. And you would have the option of being full-time or part-time, depending on your availability. Now, in terms of the eligibility, it's interesting that we do come from different academic backgrounds and from different global contexts. So you could come from sociology, politics, law, anthropology, international relations, geography, art, literature. So you would have the possibility of expanding your knowledge on gender inequalities. the main requirement would be a lower second class honors or its international equivalent. And if you're an international student that doesn't come from an English speaking country, you would have to have this score of 6.5 in an IELTS test or its equivalent. Our core modules are, well, we do have an introduction to gender theory with a very deep understanding of these critical themes, queer theories, feminist theories in all its range. And then we do have this, in the second term, this course on global context and gender from a global perspective. So we're looking at case studies from all over the world, from different approaches, and looking at it from a decolonial intersectional perspectives. Then we do have a methods course. It's great in just providing the tools in which you can develop your research project and then the minor thesis. Here's a list of all different courses that you can have in combination, so you can also build your own program, in the sense that you can, if you're interested in transitional justice, if you're interested in violence, if you're interested in human rights, if you're interested in political systems, in queer theories, or in critical race theories, you can build your own program according to your interests. Then, of course, our students have very interesting experiences after this program. Many of them can access nonprofit, charity, public and private sectors. They become leaders in mainstreaming gender issues within these organizations. Many also become activists, so they tend to combine theory, but also with its very clear applied dimensions in becoming and engaging in transformative actions within public policies, but also within communities, with their articulation with social movements, and also in education and media organizations. They have a very powerful impact and find jobs in these areas. So, well, feel free to contact us.